Hello everyone, thanks for tuning in to today's third video. We're going to have a look at the weather for the next 10 to 14 days for today's third video. So day 10 is going to take us to the 13th of November, and we'll be able to extend out beyond that with the extended GFS and ECM ensembles maybe around a couple of weeks. Have a look at CFS V2 at the end of the video for the next 4 weeks, and that'll get us pretty much to the end of November. So I shall get on with that for you very shortly. Just say it's been a busy day at GavsWeatherVids today. So far, we have released the 7 AM forecast, the November forecast from GavsWeatherVids. If all that wasn't enough, yesterday forecast as well. So please check out those free videos if you have not yet done so. And thank you so much. Please like, share, subscribe on the videos too. We're going to have the premiere of the first Christmas update for you tonight at 7 PM. So Christmas countdown begins for another year. And, yeah, we've got the first one of those coming up to you at 7 PM as a premiere, just to start us off. The rest won't be premiere, but just to start us off, the first one is going to be premiere. And, so I shall be in a live chat with you all at 7 PM, and we'll watch it together. Around 13 minutes, not particularly long, and it's a little bit of a laugh, so we'll have a look at that later on this evening, hopefully. Right, okay, let's do this then. So we're going to start off by having a look at the central England temperature. Here we go. CT is now slightly below average. It's at 8.8 degrees. That's an anomaly of 0.2 of a degree below the 61 to 1990 average. That is provisional to yesterday, to the 2nd of November. That's probably going to fall further over the next couple of days. We've got some more chilly days and quite cold nights to come. We'll then probably start to level off and rise up over weekend into the early part of the next week. But the opening days of November look like they will be colder than average. These are the GFS upper air temperature and precipitation ensembles for the next couple of weeks. We're at Birmingham today, so red line is 30-year upper air temperature average. For Birmingham, we're showing our cold average at the moment. We're going to go a little bit colder, if anything, over the next day or two. But as we get to the end of week into weekend, there's a little bit of a lift up in the temperature. Then it looks like we go into sort of a zonal sine wave type pattern. So you'll notice that we've got peaks and troughs here with the upper air temperature. So we've got a warmer sector there, and a cooler sector there, a warmer sector there, a cooler sector there, a warmer sector there, and probably a cooler sector there. So it does look as though we go rather zonal through the sort of second week of November in particular. Averaging and all that will probably be a little bit milder than average. Within that, there is a lot of scatter. So we have got some really quite cold ensemble members down here. They are outliers, but they are there. Also got some warm ensemble members up there. But I think what we really see there is hints of zonality with warmer and cooler periods alternating. Precipitation-wise, going to be a lot of dry weather over the next few days. Well, not completely dry. There will be showers coming and going, particularly so in more northern and western areas. But a reasonable amount of dry weather until we get into next week, and then probably starts to turn more unsettled with more in the way of precipitation spikes, especially so as we go into the second half of the month. Temperature anomalies from the 3rd through to the 11th of November, looking a little bit milder than average for the UK and for Ireland, and precipitation anomalies from the 3rd to the 11th of November, they're going to be drier than normal. The latest wind from that from earthnoldschool.net shows that at the moment northerly winds continues. That's the reason the weather remains quite chilly at the moment. Those winds are actually coming from quite a long way north. If we drag the map down, you can see that these northerly winds have their origins, really quite a long way north indeed, like up there. So that's getting towards the northern parts of Norway, for example, and they're coming all the way down western side of Europe. So that's the reason temperatures have taken quite a dip over the past day or so. Right, here goes some chart data. Let's have a UK Met Euro is looking for midnight on Saturday. So high pressure is looking southwards over weekend really, and allowing in milder westerly winds. So we will eventually turn this northerly back to a west or southwesterly, and that will start to lift the temperature up. It will get milder as we go into the weekend, but it won't be completely settled. In fact, have this deep area of low pressure running into northern Scotland at midnight on Saturday night, Sunday morning. That could bring some very wet and windy weather into the north. I think the rain with that in the south is probably going to be quite light, but further north, yes, that could bring some proper wet and windy weather. When that gets out of the way, we then revert back to a cool northwesterly again, so we're in a cool sector then. And then as we go to midnight on Tuesday, the next lows rolling in, and that brings the next push of warmer winds from the west and from the southwest. You see this idea of warmer and colder air masses alternating very much in association with like a zonal flow. This is how the GFS midnight run is looking. So again, we've got the high pressure slipping southwards, low pressure coming in to the north as we go through Saturday. That brings a spell of wet and windy weather, especially to the northern half of Saturday into Sunday, and then a push of cooler or colder winds from the northwest through the course of Sunday itself. Region of high pressure builds in for the Atlantic. That's within quite a cool air mass. So next week starts on a dry but quite cold note. Very quickly, that high pressure slips southwards, and we draw back in a milder west or southwesterly wind. Heading into the middle part of next week, high pressure ridging in to the southwest. That should bring quite a bit of dry weather to the southwest, but the north will be a little bit more unsettled. And then as we get towards day 10, so a lot of anti-cyclonic influence actually with the GFS midnight run, particularly for England and Wales, where it's a little bit more unsettled for Scotland, and relatively mild conditions as well. In more extended range, the GFS midnight run then starts to turn a lot more unsettled with low pressure out to our west, high pressure slipping away into east of Europe. We do draw up like a southerly wind, so it will be turning very mild if that comes up at this low. Could bring some outbreaks of rain to the north and to the west as well. Let's have a look as we get to the end of the GFS midnight run. So we've got blocking here actually, and we've got a negative NAO going on as well. But despite that, this is one of the ways that with a negative NAO we can still be mild. So we have got quite a bit of blocking here within the northern latitudes. There's high pressure like Iceland and going a little bit further northwards of that. We've got low pressure down here around the Azores into west of Spain and Portugal. So the NAO would be negative with that, but we also have the ridge extending down the eastern side of Europe through Central East Europe. The upshot is we just keep wind coming up from a southerly or southwesterly direction. Of course, what we would have to watch out for is if these heights strengthen any more to the north, we might turn those southerly southeasters into easterlies or northeasterlies, and then it would start going colder. But up to the end of the GFS midnight run, it's mild, but also potentially quite wet, especially for more southern and western areas. Unusual pattern though. Right, the 6 head looks like this. So again, low pressure is moving in on Saturday, mainly dry in the south and milder outbreaks of rain and wind in the north. That low pressure then moves to the east of Scotland. We pull in a colder northwesterly as we go through into Sunday, with showers turning wintry over high ground in northern areas. Potentially better ridge building as we go into the early part of next week. Should bring dry weather, but it will be colder under that ridge. The high bend ridge gets flattened off as we go into Tuesday and Wednesday as the next batch of wet and windy weather comes in from off the Atlantic. So there's another spell of rain through the middle part of next week. And then a high pressure sort of ridging back into the second half of next week in what looks like a rather cooler air mass again. We need to try to get into the north, becoming a lot colder over Scandinavia as well by the end of next week, with northerly winds of this trough of low pressure sinking down through Scandi. For us, we're on the periphery of that, mostly under the area of high pressure. In the more extended range, this deep area of low pressure then starts widening itself up to western Scotland by the middle of November, and that takes us on then into an unsettled second half to October with spells of rain as low pressure comes in off the Atlantic. But at least it will be mild if that comes off, with winds remaining from a west or southwesterly direction. Right, the GM next. If you enjoyed the video, please can you smash the like button to make sure you're subscribed to our channel. Thank you so much for doing that. And drop a comment, let us know what you think about this and all of our videos. It's amazing, it's incredible. Thank you so much, everybody. Right, okay, GM looks like that. Again, high pressure is slipping southwards over weekend, allowing milder winds to come in from off the Atlantic, but it could turn wet and windy for a time over weekend, especially so up in the north. Then high pressure ridges back in, so that low pressure clears away to Denmark on Monday, and we pull in a rather cooler or colder northerly wind with this ridge of high pressure. So turns drier only next week, but does turn a little bit cooler as well. Tuesday looks mainly dry down in the south, but could be more rain in the north. Then the second half of next week turns quite unsettled as low pressure moves in from off the Atlantic, and eventually it turns cold as well with the GM. We return wind back into the north. So I think the GM is a little bit colder and a little bit more unsettled for the second half of next week and into that weekend of 13th and 14th of November. Cold, more unsettled compared to like the GFS. And then the ECM finally looks like that. High pressure again slipping southwards on Saturday, allowing milder winds to come in from off the Atlantic, rather wet and windy late Saturday into Sunday. Then the ridge returns early next week. That is probably quite a cold ridge to start off with, could bring night frost. But by middle of next week, we're back into these milder winds from the west and from the southwest with rain in the north. And then we get up towards day 10. It's mainly dry down in the south, close to this ridge of high pressure, but more unsettled in the north, with low pressure bringing showers or longer spells of rain. Winds reading from the west-southwest direction, so the ECM is also mild at day 10. The precipitation forecast, based on the ECM run from Meteo.com, looks like this. Plenty of showers in northern, eastern and western areas and down in the south. Mainly dry, though, for rather cloudy inland. Going to weekend, so the wet and windy weather, particularly in the north. There's a lot of dry weather down in the south over the weekend, but some drips and drabs of rain will get down into the south through the second half weekend. Then high pressure re-establishes, brings a lot of dry weather for the early part of next week before the wet weather comes back to the north and west as we move up towards day 10. That's how look as we get to day 10. So, yeah, there is more rain, particularly so in more northern and western areas. The south always has quite a lot of dry weather, though. Right, these are the options on the table within the ECM ensembles from the ECMWF.int website itself today. We can't show you the options on the table from the Icelandic Met Office because they have not updated today. I don't know why. But we've got them from ECMWF anyway. So this is going to get us to the 13th of November, day 10. So we have 28 members of the ECM ensembles with above average heights, ridging in from the Atlantic into Western Europe. Low pressure is up here. That's going to be dry and relatively mild as well. We're pushing jet stream northwards with that. That will include the operational run, I think. And then we have 23 members of the ECM ensembles with high pressure right over top of the country. Again, that's going to be mostly dry, but could be a little bit cold as that high pressure is kind of centred right over top of the UK. So there's a greater chance of frost and fog with that, whereas this one has more Atlantic influence and so therefore is a milder scenario. In 2 weeks' time, these are the options that we've got. This will get us to the 18th of November. We have 13 members of the ECM ensembles. They're looking unsettled. We take high pressure away to our west, and we have this trough of low pressure across the UK, the jet stream and wind flow doing something like that. So unsettled and colder with that one. Then just here we have another 13 that has low pressure coming in off the Atlantic. That also is unsettled but is milder, with winds from like a southwesterly direction. We have, how many is that? So I think that's 10. We have 10 members of the ECM ensembles here with high pressure pulled out to our west, and cut off low around Spain. So that's not going to be overly unsettled, but could be a bit showery and would be colder with winds sort of coming in from a northwesterly type direction. We have 9, I think that is. Could be 8, but I think it's 9 with high pressure just out to our west. So that could be reasonably drier, and we send the jet stream and wind flow on a northwest-southeast alignment. And then finally, we have a minority option of 6 with deep low pressure extending down the western side of Europe. High pressure is to the south of Greenland, and a jet stream plunging south with that as well. So that is cold and unsettled. That trough of low pressure is cold trough. And we would be putting in, pretty cold air from the north into that trough of low. Maybe even a chance of some wintry potential for northern areas. We are sending jet stream a long way southwards with that. The jet stream going all the way down towards Spain. Can you believe it with that scenario? So that's probably the coldest option and the most unsettled too. And that could even involve a little bit of snow. But bear in mind, there's only 6 doing that. It's a very minority sort of option. The majority of options seem to involve more in the way of, well, still low pressure really, but not as, not as cold as that, not sending jet stream as far south as that option. Right, lastly, CFS V2, these are 500 millibar heights, break it down into week periods. The first week period take us from the 3rd to the 9th of November. The coming week has the above average heights out to our west, and we'll be pulling in wind from a northwesterly to northerly direction. So mainly dry, but a little bit on the chilly side with that one. Week 2 is going to be the 10th through to the 16th of November with high pressure just to our east and south. And so again, that's mainly dry, but that's a lot milder, bringing wind in from a southwesterly direction. Week 3 is going to be the 17th to 23rd of November. And then we have a high pressure sort of pulling out to our west-southwest. Same with jet stream and wind flow on a northwest-southeast alignment. So again, mainly dry, perhaps a little bit cooler though. Winds coming in from the northwest. And then finally, week 4 is the 24th to the 30th of November, month's end, with low pressure returning to the north of Scotland. And so that's going more unsettled and probably a little bit on the cool side as well. The Azores high is pulled away from us into the middle of the Atlantic. So, you know, there's no northern blocking, so it wouldn't be particularly cold, but we could be a little bit on the cool side. And it is turning more unsettled as well. And that's your 10 to 14 day for today. So, if you enjoyed the video, please can you smash your like button, make sure you subscribe to our channel. Thank you so much, everybody, for doing that. Drop a comment, let us know what you think about this and all of our videos. And don't forget to tell your friends and family about GavsWeatherVids as well. Get them to subscribe. But we're going to get to 12.4k subscribers as quickly as we possibly can. We've got to put on around 60 now. 60 subscribers to get to 12.5k. So yeah, please give us a sub, and that's absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much, everybody, for doing that. Right, so that's it for 10 to 40 today. We're going to be back at 7 with the premiere of the first Christmas update, official Christmas update. So I shall see you on the red carpet just before 7 o'clock in the live chat, and we shall have a little premiere and begin the Christmas countdown for another year. But for this 10 to 14 day, that's all for now, and thanks for watching.